A year-long voyage is feasible, but the Genesis text itself drives a virtual coffin nail in the worldwide flood scenario that conservative Christians have embraced. Genesis 8:11 says, "And the dove came in to him in the evening, and lo, in her mouth was an olive leaf plucked off. So Noah knew that the waters were abated from off the earth."
This is yet another example of where just reading the text closely will eliminate some of the self-inflicted wounds and paradoxes Bible expositors continually find themselves in when they select some verses to take in a literal sense while ignoring other mitigating verses altogether. Had the entire earth been submerged in salt water for over 9 months, plant life would have perished. Yet in the mouth of the dove was not a dead olive branch, but a leaf. Could an olive tree survive over 9 months submerged in seawater? Even if one did, could it sprout leaves in a week? Or is it more sensible to believe that most of the world, including the region near where the ark landed and the leaf was taken, was spared the Genesis flood?
Southern Mesopotamia is not conducive to olives, which had to be imported from mountainous regions. The climate in the south is too hot, and frequent inundations are hostile to olive trees. Olive fruit is recorded in Assyrian and Asher temple offerings during the 3rd millennium BC.
Returning an olive leaf to the ark mandates the survival of live trees immediately following the inundation. Today, villages at the foot of Jebel Muglub, located just a little northeast of Nineveh, are renowned for their olives. Olive trees require elevated, well-drained soil to thrive. In waterlogged soil, they die. Thus, there is important information to be gleaned from what may seem to be trivial information in the Genesis flood chapters. Mention of an olive leaf in Genesis 8:11 supports a local flood, negates a universal flood, and offers further support to the area near Pir Umar-Gedron, east of Kirkuk, Iraq, as a probable landing site.
Can I change my vote?
I don't know which way I would vote myself. The only biblical clue comes from Genesis 11:2 that describes a journey from the east toward Babylon after the flood, and the foothills of the Zagros Mountains in the Kermanshah province of Iran best fits that description. Mount Ararat is almost due north, and Jebel Judi is further west. Practically speaking, Noah's boat could be poled up the Euphrates River toward the present city of Fallujah, then headed east via one or more irrigation canals to the Tigris, then down the Tigris to the lower Zab River near Kirkuk. Then they could head east on that river toward the Zagros Mountains into relative isolation and safety, far removed from any potential hostile settlements, be they Persian or Sumerian or whatever. They needed time and seclusion in order to reconstitute, to rebuild their numbers.
Vineyards also thrive in hilly or mountainous areas shaded a little from direct sunlight. Genesis informs us that the area where Noah landed was suited for growing grapes, and now a very old man, Noah was known to sample the fruit of the vine to excess at times. Genesis 9:20-21 says, "And Noah began to be a husbandman, and he planted a vineyard, and he drank of the wine and was drunken, and he was uncovered within his tent."
This proclivity to imbibe a little even has resonance in the 11th tablet of Gilgamesh. When he encounters the flood hero, Gilgamesh exclaims, "As I look upon thee, Utnapishtim," his name translated means "he who found long life," "thy features are not strange at all, even as I art thou." In other words, you and I look pretty much the same. It could even imply they were both of the same race, in the same line of descent, although there is no way to confirm that. My heart had regarded thee as resolved to do battle, yet thou liest indolent upon thy back. And in Genesis, Noah was found by his grandson drunk and naked in his tent. What evoked the curse upon Canaan, son of Ham, is unclear from the meager description, although one is free to speculate, but the curse is played out in subsequent history. The Israelites, from the blessed line from Shem, battled the accursed Canaanites into eventual extinction.
Genesis doesn't give us a lot of information about the 350 years between Noah's famous voyage and the dispersion of the tribes. After Noah pronounces a curse upon Canaan, Jubilees continues the story. And Ham knew that his father had cursed his younger son, and he was displeased that he had cursed his son, and he parted from his father, he and his sons with him, Cush and Mizraim, and Put and Canaan.
The writer of Jubilees goes on to tell us that Ham, Japheth, and Shem built individual cities and named the cities after their respective wives. The three clans remained in their own cities and rebuilt their numbers, Noah residing with Shem's family. Although the table of nations for the families listed in both Genesis and Jubilees is the same, Jubilees also lists all the wives' names, which could possibly be an addition or a deletion on the part of the writer of Genesis, who might have thought it was superfluous information. We, of course, have no way to confirm the accuracy of any of the names, although Jubilees not only lists the names of each wife, her pedigree, if I can use that word, is also included. For example, Canaan took Meluleth, his sister, to be his wife, and she bare him a son. And Jared took to himself a wife, and her name was Barakah, the daughter of Rasujael, a daughter of his father's brother. And Noah took to himself a wife, and her name was Amzara, the daughter of Rachiel, the daughter of his father's brother. Now, there is reason to be wary of the names, as every wife was either a niece or a sister. Nevertheless, each name was just as Hebrew-sounding as the patriarch they married, until we reach the names of Noah's son's three wives, listed here, with no lines of descent whatsoever included. And the women, whoever they were, have names the writer had to know were not in any way Hebrew related. The inference is that these women either came from the indigenous population, Sumerian or Ubadan perhaps, or at least the writer of Jubilees thought they did. And that is as close as we can come, given our present state of knowledge and with the available evidence. In our next episode, we will look at the dispersion of Noah's generation in Peleg's day, when Genesis says the earth or land was divided, that is to say, apportioned among the Noahic tribes. A special thanks to my co-host Ken Miller, and we appreciate your spending time with us.